We're not asking you to clear us or apologize or be nice to us again. Just do the things that you should do that can be done. If you do that and we don't get an answer, we tried. My goal right now has really become to get an answer as to who did this for the sake of my family. This is a cloud that still hangs over our family, and it's not fair, it's not right, but it's there.
Certainly a lot of questions there for years. Tonight, a new episode of True Crime News has taken a deep dive into a case that shocked the nation and is still a mystery to this day. The murder of JonBenét Ramsey. And here to tell us more about it is True Crime News host Ana Garcia. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Anita. Yes, we should be able to solve this case, right? It's been almost 30 years. There's still a lot of evidence. There's still a lot of DNA testing to be done. How have we not solved this case?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the family wants to know that, but so many other people who have followed it for years, because a lot of people really have been following it since the early days of it. So first, let's just kind of rewind back. If someone is just tuning in, didn't see you on our show a couple of weeks ago, give us an idea of how your show worked and what kind of stories you focus on.
So we are a daily crime show, a half hour a day. We do a good deep dive into 2 cases. We also give you the headlines of what's going on in news. We are taking the perspective of the survivors and the victims. Sure, we are of course talking about the killers and the accused, trying to understand how anyone could do something so heinous to another human being. But at the end of the day, we want to talk about justice and what justice would look like in each and every one of these cases.
Yeah, and so for sure, for tonight's episode, when it comes to this case of JonBenét Ramsey, coming back to that, you got to talk to her father. Her mother has passed away with no answers. What did you guys talk about?
We talked for hours at John's home in Utah. You know, he says he will not go back to Colorado. He'll only go there if the police need him. But, you know, he's 80 years old. Patsy has passed, and he wants answers. Decades ago, it was already identified that there is DNA evidence of an unknown male. Let's figure out who that is. Let's test the rest of the evidence, and let's get some answers on this case.
Yeah.
And he says even if he doesn't get an answer before he passes, he says his family will continue to press for answers because they've been living under this cloud of suspicion.
Yeah, because a lot of people looked at their family when all of this happened and, you know, oh, it must have been someone in the family that at least knew what happened to her. So how difficult is this reanalyzing the case that's been so well talked about for so many years, and even with the advancements in DNA that we've had over the years?
I think people have very strong opinions about this case. And even John will say that there are a lot of people who still suspect him or another family member. And if you look at the comments, as I was just reading them on social media last night and this morning, there are people who still believe they had something to do with it. But what we're saying is that in 30 years, the technology has changed so significantly, and there is evidence that was never tested or that was tested using this old technology. If we apply the scientific standards that we have now, I do believe that what is perhaps the most famous cold case of the last half century can be solved.
Wow. Okay, so how do you approach this different in a documentary form versus, say, the podcast that you have and the things that you address there?
So in the podcast, we have really long conversations in an informal way, and there's always a call to action to be a part of the conversation. And in fact, this week's podcast is an extended form of the John Ramsey interview. You know, we can only fit so much in our half-hour episode, but in the podcast, which was released this morning, you have the feel and the sense of a more casual conversation, which I think then you can read into whatever it is you pick up from that conversation. And that's what we provide. We've got the biggest digital footprint out there of any crime site. So you can listen to the podcast, you can watch us on YouTube, you can tune into the television, right? There's social media. However it is you want to communicate with us about a case, we're there for you.